here for the tribal cultures, but it's all over. Obviously, we did flint napping, those types of things. And throughout the thousands of years that we've made it here in this area, it is transformed from just tools to spears, arrowheads, those types of things. But the arrowheads probably only go about 400 or 500 years back. There were different spears and those types of things that were used that we did. We still, each year, I know for the Middletown Rancheria, and that's what I'll speak specifically for, we have a flint napping class that come out, and we do it with our young kids. They get to do it as a summer project, and it's a really unique opportunity to take them back and part of our history and how we survived here in the elements and with what we had in the local area. And what we had is this volcanic rock, the obsidian, which was used in all of our utensils as far as cutting, hunting, and other stuff. It's for the skinning of the deer, the rabbits, and it's just a phenomenal thing. But like I said, if you look around, it's everywhere. You see it stacked on roads, you see it everywhere. But this is what we use to trade with our neighbors, our tribal neighbors, the coastal Miwoks. They'd have the abalone and the seaweed. We had acorns. We had our obsidian and those types of things. And still these traditions go on today. Just a few months ago, Kashaya Band of Pomo Indians over on the coast, maybe it was 6-8 months ago, time flies by so quickly, but they got a huge donation of land, and they did a preserve over there, a conservation preserve on the coast. And when you're asked to come and talk at those things and go to the dances, for Middletown, I always have obsidian in my car or on myself when I go places. And what I did was I took one of the ones where a really nice piece of obsidian they had found in our area, and the kids had worked on, and they made it kind of like an axe blade, and I give it to the chairman so they could bury it over there. And in exchange, they have sea salt. So he gave me some sea salt, which was phenomenal, and it carries on the tradition that has been going on for thousands of years in the coordination of the tribes and what we do in working together to really keep our culture alive and who we are and the use of the natural resources that we have around us. And I just, I embody that. I teach my children that, and I love to have an opportunity to speak about that every time I can. As far as Middletown Rancheria, I'll speak specifically to the Pomo. We're the Middletown Rancheria of Pomo Indians of California. We have 239 tribal members. Currently, we have 132 acres to the south of us. For 100 years or more, it was only 80 acres. We just purchased 52 more acres to the south of us. So we're trying to expand our land base. Like I said, we have 239 tribal members. They're spread out all over the country. We have 35 homes on the rancheria. We have a clinic. I think we're the only tribe to have a clinic on their rancheria. We're very proud of that through Indian Health Services. But we are a mixture of tribes. We were a landless tribe at one point. We were kind of forced from the Gwinnett Valley area for the Middletown, the landless tribes. We were called the Gwinnett Indians at one point. And now we became the Middletown Rancheria after we were pushed off the land. And, we had our property donated to us. Actually, it wasn't by the federal government. It was donated by a church. And in 1906, that's how we got our reservation established. We were federally recognized prior to that, but we didn't have any property. We were the landless Indians. I have a historical letter from the cavalry, the individual who was in charge of getting property here for the southern Indians, the Gwinnett Indians. And that never came to fruition, obviously, but the church graciously donated the property, and we became a federally recognized tribe here in Lake County. We are a mixture of Pomo, Wintoon, and Lake Miwok, because we were all landless tribes, and we're obviously connected to the other 6 tribes in the county. There's 7 altogether, and the families are tied together. There's the Simons, the Riveras, the Knights, the Yees are all part of the tribe. Those are the main core families, and the Riveras. So there's 5. The tie to the Wintoon band is through the Simon side. So we're Pomo, which was Jose Simon Sr., and also Lucas Simon. They're Ed Simon's children, their boys, or his boys. And Caroline Lowell, who was from Cache Creek, who was my grandmother, that's how we tie into Wintone, which is Cache Creek over in the valley, in the Cape Valley. And that's how the Simon ties back to the Wintune. And then Lake Miwok is the rest, the Riveras, the Knights, and those folks in the tribe. And we still, obviously operate under that. Well, we do have a website finally. It's got our historic knowledge up there as far as, our history and who we are and what we do and how we, perceive ourselves. We are a very tribally orientated government operation. We meet every 30 days with our entire membership, somewhat just like this. We get together, we eat, we talk about the future, where we're going, what we're going to be doing as a people, and we're always including as many of the other tribes as possible in what we're doing in our stuff. I truly believe that the keepers of the Indian culture obviously are our tribal elders and also our youth. And having a good combination here in the county, something I pride myself on. I can pick up the phone and call any chairman, or if it's a business, I can call them and we can have a conversation. Collaboration of tribes is something so important. We are involved across the country, National Congress of American Indians, California Nations Indian Gaming Association. We are also here, we've even had some tribal leadership meetings here in the county, which helped get started. We want to get that started up again, but there are always all kinds of collaborations going on. This year, for the second year, we'll be doing a fireworks show with all the tribes have bought in. We'll be doing that at Big Valley Rancheria. And there's also one other event that's coming up in July, and if you haven't been, it's a really unique celebration. It's the Thule boat races. So what we do, each tribe in the county goes out, picks the Thules, builds the boats. We do a 3-day process. We get the kids involved, and then Saturday and Sunday we do our boat races. And they're Thule boats, what we used to fish on for thousands of years right here on this lake. Some are picked from Clear Lake, some are from other places. We actually pick on the south end of the county. We either go out to Gwinnett or a couple of ponds that we just picked up have a lot of Thules, which we're excited about that this year. We can do this stuff. We build our stuff down there on this side. Most tribes on the lake do it over here at Canocti, but we're always 45 minutes away. So we do it at home, and then we come up and we, enjoy that. This year it is on July 21st. I think 20th, 21st, 22nd, or no, 21st, 22nd, 23rd, and it's at Big Valley Rancheria. And those are just some of the cultural traditions that are kept here in the county. Our most closest ties with our traditional dances, cultures, our quarterly dances that happen, whether it's summer, spring, fall, as we move through the year. Our closest relations with those are with the Elam Band, and we support them wholeheartedly in all of their dances, whether we're participating in them or helping them financially. We're always there for our friends that are keeping that big time culture alive as they dance and they teach the young groups. We have some young dancers and some song singers from Middletown that open up our prayers and our things that we do at home, but they also travel. And that's one thing that you see really unique from the little tiny guys that are dancing, as they move through and they grow. It's not just a dance. We're reenacting thousands of years of culture on how we respect the animals and the landscape and the environment that we live in. A lot of our stuff is tiered after quail and also the turkey, and you see our dances. If you'll sit and watch these animals when you see them out in the natural environment, the moves and the way that we, really respect them and what they've given us here. Locally with our culture, and also to be able to survive, you need sustenance, you need the water, you need the food, and those are all things of paying respects to how you live as a cultural person, and you believe in yourself and what you have in your heart to live the right way and to treat others in the right way, and it'll bring good things. There are some things that we have, cultures and traditions that are passed down for our cultural burials. There's a certain way that you're to be sent off, and it's very traditional. It needs to be done in a certain amount of time. There always needs to be a fire going so you can see your path and you'll never get lost. And these are all things that we do still today. And we do this ceremonial, and it doesn't matter. And that's the one thing I love about being culturally tied to the earth and to the people. And sometimes in life when you go through it, you can have disagreements or you can not talk to folks for years. But in the tribal way, that doesn't happen, especially when you lose somebody from the tribe. It doesn't matter what you got going on politically or personally, everything is dropped. We completely close our doors out of respect for the loss of life. Even though we have businesses, that is all secondhand. We are culturally and traditionally a tribe first, and that's one thing we always pass down to our kids and our traditions is what you need to do when you lose somebody of the tribe, because they are the elders. They are the ones who carry that message and pass that knowledge down to us. You know, I always get a feeling, I was talking to John Parker up on the porch up there a little bit about traditional stories and stuff that happen, and there's so many here in this county because it's so rich with the native history here. You have the Anderson Marsh, you know, down there. If you haven't been out there to see it, that's a very powerful place. It's where we'd get together and everybody would do their trading, everyone would come together, and it was a huge traditional time. That's where we would gather our hitch. That's where we, you know, everybody would come and trade from the coast. And it was a phenomenal thing because that's what we are. We're always tribal, we're always fitted. It's something that helps steer you in the right direction, and it always makes you feel more powerful. I feel really good being up here today to talk about this. I'm standing right here below Mount Canocti from Middletown. You know, the mountain has a few different significances, but really from Middletown, which I get to see every day now driving to Lakeport from Middletown. I'm a commuter to the other end. I never thought I'd be a commuter, but I am. I commute from the south end, and you know, that mountain there's a lot of different stories, I guess, through, you know, history and stuff that was written both from the tribal and non-tribal side. But for Middletown, that's a story that my dad tells me all the time, that's a giant that lays there. That's a giant that lays there at that mountain. And if you look at it, you can see his forehead and his nose and his chin, if you look at that right. And the story with that is, Old Man Coyote is one of the most powerful beings, animals that we believe in our culture here from Middletown and a lot of the tribes. Old Man Coyote was powerful. He could give life and take life. That's what he did. He was a loner, but he was very powerful in the history of where we are. I apologize. Got it down too low. But Old Man Coyote was walking around the lake, and there was a mud duck, and the mud duck was in the lake, and all of a sudden the giant came, and the giant was thirsty because he was coming down from the redwoods. And he was coming down, and it was hot, so he was going to stop and he was going to drink at the lake. So he started drinking the lake, but he was a giant, so he started drinking and started getting this big whirlpool. And so he was going to drink, and then the duck was like, "Hey, you're going to drink the lake dry. Please stop." And the giant said, "I'm thirsty. I'm going to drink. I need to drink." So he kept drinking, and Old Man Coyote was walking around the shores, and the mud duck asked Old Man Coyote for help. He said, "Please help me. Help me. I need to save the lake. My people will die." If you know, if in Indian country, the mud ducks is what we kind of name, you know, we call a elam or a upper lake sometimes. Say, "Oh, you guys mud ducks up there around the lake." And so as that duck was going around, he asked Old Man Coyote for help. And Old Man Coyote, he thought about it. He said, "Okay, I'll help you." And so what he did was, as the giant was kneeling down drinking his water, he bit him right in the Achilles tendon and brought him down, and then finished him, and that's where he lies today. Old Man Coyote killed the giant to save the lake and the mud duck people. And what you see there, and when you look at it, if you look, his forehead is on the right, and he's got his nose and his chin, and especially you can see it as you come over here just before the turn, you can see him. And he lays there, and sometimes he has a mask over his face with the clouds and those types of things, and those are just neat stories. And these aren't written down. These are given out, and they're precious things. You know, my dad only tells them, and the elders, when you get a story, it has to be a certain time of year. It needs to be a little bit of rain, you know, a little bit of clouds, not raining, but just a mist. And that's when they start to bring out and tell some stories. It's when they're the most comfortable, and when you hear these things, you just sit and listen so that you can pass this stuff on. And it's unique, and those stories that are told, they're unbelievable. And as far as the mountain goes, it's a powerful thing, and it's right in the middle of this county. And I had a chance to go up there with public services, and I had never been on top. I've always dreamed about being up there, but I ain't been. Now there's that trail. The next step will be walking up there with my son. And we'll take that trip, but it's just a phenomenal thing to know that those powers are here. They have been for thousands of years, and these stories are passed down. And you're surrounded by it. There's not much of a story told from the tribal culture here in Lake County, and I want to change that every opportunity that I can, because I believe, especially as you guys do, in the history of who we are, the full history. I love that we're doing the Civil War days coming up. There's a big part of history you have, in knowing your history, not forgetting it is so important. There were many atrocities on different, cultures here in this country and the way it was established. And you never look back, and you don't look back with anger. You look back and you understand and try to understand why things happen. Here for the Native culture, obviously, we lost our country, but we're here. We lost the war, but we are here as a culture, and we'll survive, and we'll tell that history. And some of it is, I don't know if people are ready for the real history of what happened to the Native Americans here in this country and in this state. Some of it you read and you won't believe it. Some of the stuff that they had with the slavery stuff too that went on here in this country, you won't believe it, but it's part of our history. And you need to know your history before you know where you're going in your future. And telling that story is very important. And like I said, I enjoy doing that. I'm not out here preaching about, it's tribal first, we want our country. Nope, I understand where we are. I'm a realist. I know what's happening in the world. I know the way it goes. But I also want to be here to stand and tell that story and to spread what the tribal culture is here in this. I believe there's a huge opportunity for us as a county to embrace the entire history of this area and make it a real tourism destination to understand everything like what we have here where I'm standing and what we have around the lake as far as the cultural history. I just think it's phenomenal. No place in the world, I believe, truly believe, is like what we have here in Lake County. And you can see these traditions practiced around the lake at the tribal nations on a yearly basis. And it is neat. And we still are dealing with our struggles from a tribal side. There's no doubt about that. Every community has its stuff, and we're dealing with those issues. Housing, education, those things. But we're working and we're getting better. Right now, Middletown Rancheria has the most people we've ever had in higher education and other opportunities in employment. We're also employing a lot of non-natives, but these are all things that we're striving to do and make ourselves better, but also never losing touch with who we are and the culture and the thousands of years of culture that we have behind us with this great earth and this environment that we have around us.